Welcome everyone to Justice Served Daily. I am going to do my best to try to get through not only the update for this, but just some stuff for the family as well. And this is really difficult when you're out there trying to help find a child and you are trying to help spread the word to try to get answers for a family. And when you get to know family members and you always want answers, and we wanted answers for little Oakley, and they're not what we wanted at all. So I'm going to share first what came out, and then I will kind of do this update thing here too. Let me go here. Let me take that down for I can show you something else. So this is what popped up this afternoon. Prosecutors, Oakley Snow's remains found in a dresser in abandoned Morgantown home. New details reveal that the mother of abducted 2-year-old Oakley Snow told police that her boyfriend, Roan Waters, killed the young girl and hid her body in a dresser in an abandoned Morgantown home. Madison Marshall, who is the mom of Oakley, faces a slew of new felony charges, including 2 counts of neglect of a dependent resulting in death, a level 1 felony, along with neglect resulting in serious injury, a level 3 felony. Roan Water faces 1 count of murder, along with 2 counts of neglect leading to the death and other charges. This is her mom. Waters, remember Roan Waters was the boyfriend that we told everybody about. Marshall and Waters, her boyfriend, are accused of abducting Oakley and her baby brother from their father in Oklahoma on June 19th. The pair reportedly abandoned Oakley's brother in an Indianapolis drug house where family members ended up recovering the baby boy and reporting his abandonment to the Indiana Department of Child Services. A witness reportedly spotted Marshall and Waters leaving the Indianapolis drug house with what looked like a child wrapped in a blanket. Documents revealed the witness said that the child did not appear to be moving, talking, or crying. Investigators previously believed that Oakley was likely dead and that Marshall and Waters disposed of her somewhere in Indiana. In the new charging documents, investigators determined or detail how hysterical and sobbing Marshall led officers to an abandoned home in the outskirts of Morgantown, where the remains of a child were found in the bottom of a dresser drawer. The remains were badly decomposed, but appeared to be a blonde-haired young girl. Positive identification of the child remains has not yet been made due to the decomposed state. The Morgan County coroner said identification could take 2 to 4 weeks. Marshall reportedly told police how Waters frequently abused Oakley and had often hit the girl and even choked her out on occasions. He would reportedly beat her for things as simple as holding a fork wrong, according to Marshall. Marshall allegedly told police that the abuse was so bad that Oakley wouldn't eat around Waters. Marshall claimed that if she tried to step in and explained that Oakley was only 2 years old, that Waters would then turn his abuse towards her. Oakley Snow likely died on February 9th, according to the court documents. Marshall told police she recalled her and Waters being awoken by Oakley crying because she was hungry. This is when the couple was reportedly staying at the Trap House on Albany Street in Indianapolis. Marshall accused Waters of throwing Oakley on the floor in response to her crying, with the girl's head impacting the ground and causing bruising. Marshall said later that Waters was shouting at Oakley to bounce on a large rubber ball despite the child being too small for the toy. Waters reportedly shouted for Marshall sometime later, with the mother running in to find Waters holding Oakley, who was struggling to breathe. Marshall claimed to have tried to call 911 at that point, realizing her daughter was dying, but told police Waters slapped her phone from her hand, and Marshall and Waters then wrapped the child in a blanket, and the couple left the home. Marshall reportedly held Oakley in her lap while Marshall drove them to Morgan County, where Waters disposed of the body. Marshall already faced felony charges of neglect and assisting a criminal. She is being held in the Marion County Jail after being arrested in North Carolina. Waters arrested in Colorado on March 3rd after police were called to a hotel and discovered that he had an outstanding warrant for the child abuse, domestic assault, and battery in the presence of a minor out of Oklahoma. Waters is accused of having abused Oakley in the past by striking the young girl in the mouth and causing trauma to her lips. Okay. I am going to show this. Earlier, as you know, we shared this story when it first initial happened, that we even heard a blurb about it And when I say a little bitty mention, I really mean a very little bitty mention that was not done until March 8th. This little girl was reported missing January 19th. Madison Marshall left Oklahoma with Oakley and her little brother, a 7-month-old, with this boyfriend, Roan Waters. They take off to Indianapolis because that is where Roan's has family. He comes and stays at this house. Please don't think that this house is any different because they keep using different words. A trap house, a drug house. That's what they were there for. That's exactly what they were there for. And they were running because in October of 2022, Roan had abused Oakley. Madison said something and Roan then hit Madison. Those charges that Roan was wanted for in Oklahoma are for the baby and the mom. They took off because in November, finally, there was actual action for them to put a warrant out for him for what they already knew had happened. And the baby was reported missing. And according to the family in Oklahoma, because she was not married to the father of Oakley and the little boy, she had the rights of the children. And this family then was contacted on February 9th, stating that Oakley was just dropped off somewhere at a hospital in Indianapolis. This is on February 9th. Police know that they didn't find her anywhere, right? And then we don't see anything in the news whatsoever in the market area in or out of Indianapolis until March 8th, a whole month later. By this point, the baby brother had already been abandoned. Roan's sister is the one who called Child Protective Services to have them come and pick up Madison's youngest son, the 7-month-old baby, who they abandoned in the home to supposedly take Oakley to the hospital. And now they're in Colorado. There's an argument at a hotel in Colorado. The police go, they're answering this stuff. They find Roan, and guess what? They arrest Roan because he's wanted for these charges out of Oklahoma. She gets arrested in North Carolina, which, days later, she's arrested out there. Of course, the babies aren't, the baby's not with them. Oakley's not with them. And we're waiting for transport. So right after, within a short period of time, that's why we did a show here, just because we saw the March 8th show about this 2-year-old little toddler, and it was so limited information that we were trying to at least help get the word out, because it was just a blurb. There wasn't anything. There wasn't an Amber Alert. There wasn't a Silver Alert. There wasn't anything like that that was released out about this little girl. But it was just kind of on the news, hey, this, she's missing, and very little bit of information. And then later, through contact and stuff from a Facebook page that then makes contact, suddenly, you know, reach out and talk to the family that there's help needed for a missing girl who's from Oklahoma and she needs help. And we need to help get answers. How frustrating for a family to not be in the state that your child is missing from and to try to get answers. Well, then we knew that Madison was coming back to Indiana. She was supposed to have charges done on Friday last week and go to court, right, for just the neglect, abandoning the kid, the little boy. And it's delayed till Monday. And then all of a sudden, they're just send out a press release that they believe that Oakley is dead and had been dropped somewhere, possibly buried somewhere in Indiana. I want everybody to know this is before they say anything to all of the family of Oakley. They don't tell them this. This is before Madison gets back to Indiana, right? So I have been so upset because people failed this little girl. And I listened to the grandmother, Christine, who you all met in the show that we did when we decided to try to do a prayer vigil to try to use that to get information for the family. And Christine, as a grandmother, she's sharing details and stuff in there. She's putting herself out there. And I just listened to her today in tears. And she shared with us how they also feel that CPS failed them, that IMPD failed them, that Seminole County Police Department failed them, that they learn about all the details that I just read to you. They hear horrifically what abuse that Oakley was going through because they just heard what I read to you, not because they were given the ability to hear this from somebody else, but because they read this info. Now, I'm not going to go into deep of that. It seems that a news agency had more info about it all the way up front. or that they were trying to immediately connect it from one thing to the other before they knew, and said when the baby's body was found that they were automatically trying to connect it. But for grandparents to hear the abuse that their grandbaby went through and learn how she was found decomposed is horrible. Now, Roan had hurt that baby already. Authorities already knew that. And the mother did stay with him and take off. As in, you can guess it based on what I read to you. There was drugs involved. And I don't care. I don't care. Maybe I can understand if you, as an individual, decide on your own that you're going to stay with someone who maybe abuses you. But to start to abuse your children, you have to stand up for them. They were upset. The family was upset because there was no press release or press conference for them to say what happened. It was just released and then shared by others to the family to read it. The last update was that they were going to compare DNA, and then information came out that said it would take 2 to 4 weeks. And then, here it comes from here, obviously the reason that they can say this is because you don't need DNA evidence when she takes you to where her child is, right? You don't need to figure that out when she says, "Here's my kid." And right now, it's about making sure that now it's justice for Oakley May Snow. It is for the little girl now. I tell you, hearing Christine break up and cry, and hearing just by reading the details that was shared, this little girl was killed because she said she was hungry and was crying. This little girl had had bruises on her that Roan's own sister had noticed bruises on her and wanted to know what was going on. Suddenly calls Child Protective Services. And then just thrown in a drawer. Just thrown in a drawer. As you can tell, I did not jump on the show prepared for anything. I was waiting for confirmation to be officially released, and I didn't think it would be this way. Just information and details inside the stuff being released in the news media, and that's how you find out. And I will tell you this, neither did Oakley's family. Neither did Oakley's grandmother. They didn't think this is how they would find out that Madison took the police to Oakley, told them what happened, shared all the details, shared how it would happen, shared how he was abusing, and it was released to the public before it was released to them. They had asked a million times, please give us an update. Please tell us what's going on. Where can we find information about this? And they weren't getting one damn answer from anybody. There's a lot of people that failed this little girl, and I wish I could say it was unique to happen, that this is like not, it doesn't happen often, but we all know that it does. It does. We hear of stuff slipping through the cracks of Child Protective Services, of police departments taking the abuse seriously, of prosecutors, of not charging them people, of charging, people enough time when they're in jail. Of them getting the runaround that they'd call one place and they said the case wasn't theirs. This didn't happen here. You need to go deal with Indianapolis. And then this is going on and this is going on. And they didn't know the details. And I listened to a grandma's heart who was totally broken and saying that she shouldn't be the one coming out to try to tell everybody else what happened because it's on a station, just out there with all these types of details. And guess what? Nobody's going to hear that in Oklahoma. Nobody's going to hear that where other extended family is located from. So now they have to go out and hear that. And you know what? People are trying to contact them and message them and everything else. And guess what? They want time to mourn. They've asked, please let them alone. They had to hear every detail about this poor little girl. We're going to hear all the details. I don't know what's left that they didn't share. You know, they're going to learn more stuff. They're going to hear more stuff. Right now, they show the picture of the mom. And trust me, the mom is liable. Madison Marshall is liable for not getting away from him, right? Taking off, not leaving him when she got here, or not even coming to Indianapolis in the first place. But we know that Rones abused her and this baby, and we know that Roan continued to abuse this baby until she's gone. I'm broken heart to share this update with you guys. I can't tell you from the first time I heard that they found a child's body in Morgan County. It's just so many cases, and you try to do what you can, and we try to get the word out there, and we were trying to get answers. These are not the answers we wanted. At all. I mean, last week, Monday, we're doing a prayer vigil to try to cause attention to it. And then by the end of that week, we see that not by a press conference or anything like that, but just from a news outlet stating that they believe Oakley is dead. And that's how the update went. And then it turned into, we found a body in Morgan County. So Madison Marshall is supposed to go back to court on Thursday. I'm sure we will be hearing the updated charges. And I am sure we will hear about Roan Waters being moved back to Indiana to face charges of murder as well. I want to thank all of you justice warriors for sharing that flyer out there. I want to thank all of the people who helped, who were Indiana true crime channels and Delphi crime channels, who helped share her flyer and her information out there. I appreciate that. And we all wanted to get answers for the family. And unfortunately, this is not the answers that we wanted at all. I wish there was a better outcome. But we wanted to make sure that when we covered cases, we did as much as we could and more to help families. And there are, Oakley May Snow's family is hurting really bad today. And I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm not family, but I do love children, I do care about children and babies and stuff like that. And when I hear about kids being abused or anything happened to them, it's one of the first things that I'm like, they're so small to help defend them and help find them and help get answers for them. And I can't even imagine. But I appreciate everybody who tried to spread the word. And I'm glad you guys all jumped in here real quick for this. Like I said, as you can tell, I didn't prepare anything. I just saw it and heard Christine, and it just made me so upset to hear about how she found out, how the rest of the family found out. And, the anger and questions of Amber Alerts, right? Where's the Amber Alert or a Silver Alert that could have happened when she first got here? Why was it not a press conference versus a news media outlet getting it? So, we have a show tonight. I'm going to try to get myself together for that. It is version 2 of CSAM that's busted in Indiana with part of a child sex sting that was done. Also, I believe this is probably the 4th one that was handled out of Johnson County, but it got men from all over the state of Indiana that came in, as well as someone out of state. This will be a series of it because we have a huge series coming in from that. There was another operation that we're going to cover that was done by Department of Justice to about nationwide. CSAM case that we're also going to be covering very soon that had guys busted in every state in the United States. Sorry about that. Can you hear me? Sorry, guys. I literally pulled this out. I'm sorry. But yes, we are covering an operation that busted guys all across the United States, every state, that we're going to be covering as well. We're also going to be covering missing and unidentified in the US as well as the UK. We're going to be having Kelt and Paige working on that information, and we're going to relate that to cases that are in all of your guys' states, and how you do it, how you find it, how you register if you have a missing person, all of those types of things. So we've had a lot of work we're doing and trying to catch up on while living our lives at the same time. So tonight's show is at 6 p.m. Eastern, if you want to catch all of that. And we hope you can join us. And please, please hit that subscribe button, because that helps us. And I think we're only like a few away from hitting 500. And so, you know, once we hit 500, we're going to be doing a drawing again for 6-month subscription to Discovery Plus. So if you have not hit subscribe, please do so. Please hit the like button. Please help so we can spread the word continuously about cases like Oakley. And we will keep you updated on Oakley's case and what's going on with that. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being justice warriors and helping, making sure that justice is served daily. Thank you, guys. See you tonight.